Hey everyone, it's Mega Champ once again. Um, I'm not going to go into too much of a spiel before I start this, which is very obviously my next full thoughts video on a game I recently completed, clearly being Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say in the mini update that I put out through the YouTube post or whatever you want to call that. And I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to talk about it. It's pointless. And there's really not much else to say about that. So, yeah. Don't know what else to say here. I mean, you don't really have to worry. Really, you don't. Um this is not going to be any kind of burial, quote unquote, or shoot, quote unquote, extreme negativity, rant, tangent, whatever words you want to use, whatever description you want to use. Unlike the last one, which let's not talk about anymore, seriously. That fan base is clearly never going to fucking learn ever. And now I'm done talking about it already. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about that at all in any way whatsoever. So, this is once again another Full Thoughts video as I recently completed Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. It's a remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, of the original Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII game from the PSP, which, as you can see, came out in 2022. Yes, I'm still massively behind on games. What did you expect? What did you expect? So, yeah, I played it on PlayStation 5, and believe it or not, shockingly, I got the Platinum Trophy for it. Even I'm surprised by that, if you can believe it. I wasn't planning on getting the Platinum for it at all, but I saw that it was a 5 out of 10, which normally I wouldn't do or attempt, because normally I only do 4 out of 10 or below. But I decided to try anyway because I saw a Platinum 100% walkthrough for it. So I decided to use that in my attempt, and I managed to get it. I did. It shocked the hell out of me. It really did. And I'm honestly proud that I managed to get the Platinum Trophy for this game. And it might even be the first Platinum I'm actually proud of getting. The Platinum Trophy for Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, from me getting it and my experience getting it, and obviously, we gotta do that little spiel here, but when I got it, it wasn't really all that bad in my opinion. It wasn't. For me, it wasn't a 5 out of 10. Now, was a part of that because I used that Platinum walkthrough? Probably. Probably. I'm just saying it wasn't really all that bad for me. It wasn't. The Nier Replicant Platinum was probably honestly harder to get than this game's Platinum. At least for me, anyway. Fuck material grinding, seriously, in Nier Replicant. That shit was so dumb and so ridiculous. But, take that however you want. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying, for me, getting the Platinum in this game was not that bad. It wasn't. Which is shocking considering it's a Final Fantasy game. And I've only gotten one other Final Fantasy Platinum, that being Type O. So, as usual, as normal, let's get this spiel out of the way. This is only my feelings, thoughts, and experiences and opinions on this game, and mine alone. You can have your opinion, everyone can have their opinion, so that means I can have my opinion. Everyone's experiences are going to be different, and everyone's opinions are going to be different. There we go, that's done. So, as usual, also as usual as normal, I will go over to the best of my ability with as few or as little spoilers as possible. The story of the game, the characters of the game, the world and the setting of the game where the game takes place, and the graphics and the gameplay. Also, as usual, as normal, I am not an expert. I have never claimed to be an expert. Anyone who claims they are an expert aren't an expert. There are some exceptions, obviously, but there you go. It's just the way that I feel. I'm not an expert, and I never claimed to be one. So we're going to begin here, obviously, with the story of the game, which I will try to give very few or as little spoilers as possible. So, clearly and obviously, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is a prequel to the events of the original Final Fantasy VII game, where, I mean, it's not hard to figure out. Cloud and Sephiroth are literally right here. Zack right here, Zack Fair, is the main character. G, I think. And it shows Zack as and his experience in Soldier, the little division in Shinra, and his rise in the ranks of Soldier, who his mentor and trainer is and was. There's a key word and a hint, which we'll get into when we get to characters and other events as things continue to escalate, involving well-known Soldier First Class ranks, including his mentor and, of course, Sephiroth. What a shock. Considering who the main villain of Final Fantasy VII is and other Final Fantasy VII games and works and the remake games. You get the point. So, the one thing I do need to mention here is that only a few characters from the Final Fantasy VII appear. Those, of course, being Yuffie, Cloud, obviously, the Turks, so you know, Sung, Reno, Rude. No Reeve, but there is a certain other character, but it's mostly an Easter egg. No Elena. So most of the Turks, but not all of them. And of course, Aerith. And the character that I kind of hinted at there and didn't mention is, of course, Cait Sith. Cait Sith does appear in this game, but it's mostly as a summon, quote unquote. And so it's mostly an Easter egg, so to speak. And honestly, and again, I'm going to be brutally honest with you and not baby you, which, you know, is just everyone loves so much. Not. It was a little disappointing to not see other characters from Final Fantasy VII, like Vincent. Vincent is technically there, but you don't actually witness him and see him. You just kind of hear him in his little casket bed. So, yeah. Red 13, Barrett, and Sid. Sid is mentioned, but only briefly. So it is a little disappointing to not see them all. I mean, maybe they didn't have time to put them in or couldn't think of ways to put them in, but I'm just kind of saying, other than the obvious ones and other than the ones that I just mentioned to you, it is a little disappointing to not see the other ones, but I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. And here we go again with my brutal honesty. I have to be completely and brutally honest, as I normally am, that everyone hates me for, I guess. Give me a break. The story of this game, of Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. It's around the average range. It's mostly meh. It's mostly meh. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about it. I don't want to call the story of this game mid. I don't want to use that terminology for it because, at least in this particular case, using the word mid feels a little too harsh in this particular case. So I'll just kind of call it meh. It's there, obviously, but it really isn't all that great. It's not. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. It's just my opinion. The best parts of the story in Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, are mostly the Nibelheim incident. No duh. And then afterwards, the aftermath of that, when it's what I will refer to as Zack and Cloud versus the world, pretty much. Those are the times when the story is at its best. And those are two moments, and the latter of which being pretty much the second half and latter half and late half of the game. I'm just telling you how I feel. It is what it is, but it's not terrible. It's not exactly great either. And I'll be honest with you, all this Loveless stuff in this game, it doesn't make any sense. At all. In the slightest. It makes no sense. To me, at least, it doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Sitting here right now, I still don't really understand or get all the Loveless stuff. I don't get it at all. If you want to explain it, feel free. Clearly, you got that stuff a lot better than I did. Made no sense to me. At all. I'm sorry. It just didn't. And really, there's not much else to really say about the story. There isn't. Like I said, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. It's there. But it's overall... it's not all that great, or one of its strong points. For me, anyway. Obviously, this could literally just be me. Maybe it would be best if you assume it's literally only me, but I'm just telling you the way that I feel, in my opinion, and from my experience when I played this game. We will move on to characters now. Yes, we will move on to characters now. So, I already talked briefly about the characters. Most of them are on this screen, though some of them aren't. If you want to know what they look like, use Google image search. It's really not that hard, just saying. But, so obviously the main one is Zack. Other important ones being Cloud and Sephiroth. Obviously, they're the two most important or main characters, protagonists and antagonists, respectively, in Final Fantasy VII. And other first-class soldier members, like Angeal, who is Zack's trainer or mentor, so to speak, and Genesis, who is pretty much the main villain and antagonist of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, outside of the Nibelheim incident, obviously. Now look, I'm just going to say this straight off the bat. I don't hate Zack. I don't. And them deciding to do a prequel to Final Fantasy VII and seeing a prequel to the events of Final Fantasy VII isn't and wasn't the worst idea either. It's not. prequels can actually be really good in some cases because it gives a lot of backstory and what caused certain events to happen. But again, I've honestly never really been a fan of Zack either. I'm sorry, I just haven't. There are definitely a lot of Zack fangirls out there, but I've just never really been a huge fan of him. I'm sorry, I just haven't. I mean, his character development in this game is fine, I guess. I mean, the best Zack was at his best during in this particular game anyway, for me at least. During the Nibelheim incident, obviously, with Tifa that I did forget to mention. Tifa's obviously in the game. I knew I was forgetting one, but you get the point. I mean, it's kind of obvious if you played Final Fantasy VII that Tifa's in this game. But anyway, but Zack is at his best during the Nibelheim incident, and particularly during the Zack and Cloud versus the world parts of the game. That's when Zack is at his best for me in this particular game. Just me. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you how I feel. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be honest. That's just how I feel. That's when Zack was at his best for me at this game. Yeah, I guess at the end of the game, too, during that thing, that's major spoilers. But I'm just saying that's when Zack was at his best other than that, other than the end of this game. Of course, the Zack and Cloud versus the world parts of the game are admittedly literally the latter half and close to the end of the game. So Zack is really at his best after he obtains and gets the Buster Sword here, and in the second half and latter half and late parts of the game, and close to the end of the game, basically. That's when Zack is at his best for me. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to feel differently. That's just how I particularly feel about Zack. Because honestly, the Zack stuff, the character stuff with him, and the stuff with his mentor, Angeal, and all of the other story stuff that I'm not going to spoil here in case you decide you want to play this game for yourself, almost feels like it's non-existent in other Final Fantasy VII games and projects. It does. Where's the lie here? Where am I lying? Because I'm not. Which does include the newer remake games. And I'm talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But I will admit to you, and I'm about to literally admit this, obviously I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yet. So don't spoil it for me. No spoilers. So obviously I could be wrong here. Maybe there's references to it galore in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for all I know. But the stuff with Zack, Angeal, and Genesis basically almost feels like it's non-canon. It does. It does. And it's literally not brought up in literally any other Final Fantasy type game outside of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Again, unless it's in Rebirth. If it's in Rebirth, you can tell me it's in Rebirth. Just don't say anything else about the story stuff in that. Especially with what happened at the end of Remake. Apparently, the end of Rebirth is also just as controversial. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Sure thing. I'll make that judgment for myself, just like I did for Remake. Not the point. If all that stuff is in Rebirth, tell me. You don't have to say anything else, and then I'll be wrong. But I'm just telling you from my experience, from literally all of the Final Fantasy VII games that I have played outside of Rebirth, this stuff with Zack and Angeal is literally not in any of the other Final Fantasy VII games. It's not. It's not. which makes it just feel pointless and feel like it wasn't even worth it. From my perspective, and if you ask me at least, that's what I am seeing from this. Look, I don't know what the situation is in this specific case or what happened here. I really don't. Clearly, obviously, I don't know what happened here and why it's literally not brought up ever again. Outside of the mobile games, which I don't play. If you want to explain this situation, feel free again. Maybe a bunch of stuff just got scrapped and thrown out. Definitely possible. Let's not just ignore that possibility. I mean, that's just what it feels like anyway. It feels like all of this was just thrown out the window. I'm just saying. Which is why most of this character stuff in this game mostly feels pointless and a waste of time. I'm just telling you how I feel. That's the way it feels to me right now. Because it's literally not brought up in any of the console games. Not talking about mobile, the console games. And this does include Dirge of Cerberus, by the way. Unless it's in Rebirth. If it's in Rebirth, then all of this, and then you can just throw out everything I just said. But if that's not the case, then it just feels pointless and a waste of time. I'm sorry, it just does. It just does. Plus, this Genesis stuff, oh my fucking god, this Genesis stuff. Genesis is too obsessed with Loveless. I'm sorry, he just is. So much so that it's honestly detrimental to his character, in my opinion. It is. It's beyond obsession. Stop describing everything with Loveless quotes that make no sense. For fuck's sake. None of it makes any sense. I'm sorry. And all that shit, it made me not like him at all. And I don't just mean because he was the villain or a villain. Overall, in general, I did not like Genesis in the slightest. Because none of his shit made sense, like I just said. I still don't get it, sitting here, doing this, and probably never will unless someone wants to explain it to me. That's just the situation. And like I said, if you want to explain it, feel free. I didn't understand it in the slightest. Honestly, overall, even the character stuff and the character development was mostly meh. Not mid, too harsh, but meh. It's there, clearly, obviously, but it's not all that great in my opinion. It's not. Sisney, the new character in Turk introduced in this game, was probably the only high point character-wise for this game in my opinion. And she is in Rebirth. So like I said, all of this could be moot. I am speaking prior to playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm just telling you how I feel about the situation. Unless all this shit is in Rebirth, then it's all moot. But until I know for sure, or unless you want to tell me without spoiling anything else, it just feels pointless and a waste of time. Sorry, that's just how I feel. Just how I feel. So the world and setting of the game, where the game takes place, obvious. The world of Final Fantasy VII. The Earth of Final Fantasy VII. Different areas in the Final Fantasy world, Final Fantasy VII world, obviously. Midgar is there, obviously. But there are other areas too. Wutai areas, Cosmo Canyon areas, Nibelheim, obviously, and so on. Costa del Sol. The world is fine in this game. Not much to really say here. I do like the world of Final Fantasy VII. I do. I always have. Maybe always will. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. There's not much else to say about the world and setting. What I will say is that a lot of areas and locations that they used in the game were reused. They were. So it is a lot of the same. It is. It's a lot of the same. But this is actually pretty easily explainable because back when this game was originally made for the PSP, the PlayStation Portable, which I never played until this new remaster, remake, or whatever you want to call this game, although I did watch a playthrough of it on YouTube. It was back when Square Enix obviously didn't have a AAA game obsession. Because clearly this is AA. Clearly this is AA. A AA game that they made. So that probably most likely explains the constant reused areas. There's really nothing else to say about the world and setting. Sorry, there just isn't. So the graphics of the game, they updated them significantly, obviously. And they maybe even re-recorded a lot of the lines in the game with the new remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth voice actors. Zack, for example, but maybe even Cloud and Aerith as well. I don't know, but I'm just kind of saying here. And what I learned recently, not that long ago, believe it or not, is that it was basically the same game except with an Unreal Engine coat of paint on it to make it look better, which is great. It is. I liked the graphics of this game, honestly. I kind of wish they would do something like that and stuff like that a lot. I kind of wish this is how they would do a lot of the other games, to redo them. Obviously, though, this is clearly not going to happen, as that's a lot of work, and a lot of money. God. Which is why, mostly anyway, it's not done, and a lot of the stuff that gets redone just gets a bare bones, quote unquote, remaster treatment. It is what it is, I guess. I guess. In the same style as the Final Fantasy VII games, so it fits. I mean, look at this. This looks like Final Fantasy VII Remake in a lot of ways, so it fits. And this is not the point or important at all, but I do kind of wish that what they did with Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is how they redo Dirge of Cerberus. If you don't know or don't remember what Dirge of Cerberus is, it's the Vincent game. The game where Vincent is the main character, and it's one of, if not the only, shooter I've played. Third-person, first-person shooter I've played. Unless you somehow want to count the Ratchet and Clank games, which are mostly platformers, or the shooting segments in LA Noire and AI the Somnium Files. Do those really count, though? You get the point. Unfortunately, I doubt that gets done at all now. With all of the Square Enix changes, which is sad, really. It's sad. And if I was to take it even further, it's kind of pathetic, too. But that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. This game is definitely one of the situations where practically all of the game is carried by its gameplay. Because it's action-based combat with a command, quote-unquote, like system. Kind of similar to some of the Kingdom Hearts games like Birth by Sleep 358 over 2 days, dream drop distance, so on and so forth. The gameplay was extremely fun. Extremely fun. I never got tired of it. Not once. At all. Love it. Highest point of the game. Strongly a game that is, fortunately or maybe unfortunately, however you want to put it, carried by its gameplay. Honestly, the gameplay of this kind of makes me wish they would do this or use this a lot more. Action based with a command system or command like system. Look, I'm literally not sitting here saying I hate the systems that they use in Final Fantasy VII Remake or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The second one I still haven't played yet. Those systems are great and fantastic too. They are, don't get me wrong. And they keep improving them in terms of the Final Fantasy VII Remake games. I'm just saying that this kind of system works and that they should use it and do it a lot more. That's all I'm trying to say when it comes to the gameplay for this specific game. And I pretty much have no complaints or criticisms for Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion gameplay-wise, at least for me. At least for me. Just me, though. Obviously, clearly, literally. Just me, just how I feel, just from my experience from the game and my opinion. Not much else to say. Here is your, once again, that I already showed you, Metacritic score for Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. It is on other platforms. But, yeah. Overall, when it comes to the game overall, I liked the game. Really, I did, despite what it may seem and everything that I just said there. Because it wasn't an extreme amount of fun. As long as I'm having fun, then some of the other stuff is practically irrelevant. It's still important, obviously and clearly, but it becomes mostly irrelevant as long as I'm having fun with the game and in the game. Obviously, I'm still shocked and proud that I got the platinum trophy for it. But, unfortunately, however, the meh story, mostly, and characters, and overall feeling that much of it, if not most of it, was a waste of time and pointless, since it's never referenced or talked about seemingly ever again in other Final Fantasy VII games, including the remake ones. But again, I don't know because I still haven't played Rebirth yet. Yes, I'm extremely behind, but you all should know this by now. Dragged it down quite a bit. It did. Unfortunately, it just did. But it is what it is, I guess. Maybe they finally realized this and referenced it all in Rebirth. I've seen nothing to suggest this. I guess I'll find out when I play Rebirth. So maybe all of this is moot and pointless, but I'm just saying that unless it's in Rebirth, then it just felt pointless when it comes to what the story stuff and the character stuff they did in Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. But obviously, as we all goddamn know by now, you can't control what these companies do, clearly, obviously, but I still enjoyed my time with it and my experience with the game overall. And this is definitely one of the very rare and very extremely rare circumstances and situations where I actually mostly agree with these Metacritic scores. I do. Believe it or not, shockingly. Don't have a heart attack. I really do. I actually agree with these scores. I do. When it comes to my personal score, my personal score is a 7.5 out of 10. slightly below this, but it's basically this. This is just an average, so close enough to this, so yeah. I enjoyed my time with the game, extremely happy and extremely proud that I got its platinum. Extremely fun in terms of the gameplay. I never got bored of the gameplay once. Initiating combat mode. Conflict resolve. Okay, I'm sorry. Extremely fun. Never got tired of it. It's just the story and the characters that really wasn't all that great that kind of dragged it down. But it is what it is. I still enjoyed the game. It's a great game. Extremely fun. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else you want from me. I mean, if all that stuff is in Rebirth, then fine. All of it is pointless. Then all of what I said is moot. But I haven't seen anything that has said it's in Rebirth, so I guess I'll find out when I play it. But you know, oh well. It was better than Pokemon Scarlet, though. Come on. You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming. My next game is AI The Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. I know it hasn't been all that long since I played AI The Somnium Files. I mean, I played Pokemon Scarlet, then this game, and now I'm playing AI The Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. So I played 2 games between the first game and this game, so that should be good enough. It's not like I'm playing them back to back. I try not to do that anymore, though there are clearly going to be times when that probably still happens, but hopefully they are a few and far between. Considering how good the first game was, I probably shouldn't be expecting the same, but hopefully it's just as good, if not better. And hopefully the twist and hopefully whatever the truth is in this game isn't a cop-out. Hopefully. We'll see. We will see. We shall see. We shall see. Yes. Absolutely, we shall see. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. It's over an hour. My God, man. My God. That's showcase level. But nobody should be expecting showcase level. I am approaching this the same way as always. Extremely low expectations. That way, if something major happens, I'll be surprised and I will like it and I will enjoy it more. Will it have anything for me? I don't know. The best thing for me is to assume no, it won't have anything for me. But you never know, because there are definitely a lot of rumblings and rumors and speculation. Like the Rayman Anniversary Edition. And Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. You can forget about Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, this is definitely one of the few times I'm actually looking forward to a state of play. It's just, extremely low expectations. But I am honestly looking forward to it. It's one of the few times I am, because it's over an hour. Because it's over an hour. That's why. We'll see. We shall see. If it's better than I expect, and there's enough for me to discuss, then I will discuss it in another video. Again, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely looking forward to it, though. So, unless I make a video about things that happened in this over an hour's state of play, I don't know when you'll hear from me again. Probably when I finish AI, the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. So, unless I make a video about stuff that happened here, This is Mega Champ saying next time I'll be providing you with more unlimited guidance. See you next time. Bye. Conflict resolved. That was so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna go now. Bye.